My wife said, "It's not cheating if I tell you." So I dated her co-workers, took the house, and served her divorce papers at a pool party. My name is Ryan Brooks. I am 28 years old and work for a consulting firm. I have a master's degree in computer science. I am 5 feet 11 inches tall, weigh about 205 pounds, and have brown hair and eyes. I stay fit by going to the gym every day and running at 5 a.m. People have said I have a nice face. My wife Lily, also known as Ida, is 26 years old, measures 5 feet 5 inches tall, has a curvaceous but fit physique, and works out 3 times a week. Her blonde hair falls just below her shoulders. She has blue eyes, lovely legs, a small waist, and a 34-inch bust. Yes, her face is also breathtakingly attractive. We met during a college party. Her name was Lily Masters, and she was finishing her bachelor's degree in accounting, while I had already completed 1 year of my master's degree. We hit it off right away and continued to date throughout college. We married around a year after graduating from college, not high school, as others may imagine. I should point out that Lily does not always thoroughly consider the consequences of her decisions, particularly when she has a strong belief or goal. For example, she had feminist views and originally refused to take my surname. When we married, she insisted on choosing a hyphenated surname that included her maiden name and mine, such as Scott Whitt or Rodham Clinton. When I tried to address this and explain why I thought it was a bad idea, she became enraged, accusing me of being misogynistic and attempting to destroy her identity. She named accomplished women who had done this, as well as acquaintances who had no problem with it. She rants about how patriarchy enslaves women by forcing them to adopt their husbands' surnames. I attempted to explain that this wasn't my intention, but eventually I sat her down, had her read the hyphenated name 5 times, and pointed out how it sounded. I jokingly said that I wouldn't mind if she kept her maiden name, Masters, alongside Bader. She quickly gave up the idea and changed her name to Bader. I mentioned she's naturally blonde, didn't I? We've been married for more than 5 years and haven't had children yet, but we've started planning for them. We talked about trying for a baby on our 5th anniversary, which was just over 2 months away. Lily has troubles with the pill, so we constantly employ precautions. We intended to forego protection on the night of our 5th anniversary, making it a memorable occasion. This brings me to the start of a horrific catastrophe. With a beer in my hand, I sat across the table from my wife and heard 5 awful words that ignited my rage. "I just want to try something different." She said that for about a month before we started a family, she needed to get rid of everything before settling down to be a mother. I attempted to clarify. "So you want to date other men while married to me? You want to party and sleep with other men, completely breaching your promise to forsake all others. And you expect me to be okay with that? Are you crazy?" I was close to yelling the final phrase. She responded, "Look, it'll only last a month or so. I need to sow the last of my wild oats before we celebrate our special 5th anniversary as planned. Once this minor outbreak is resolved, I'll settle down and be a loving, faithful wife for the rest of my life." "Not only no, but hell no," I responded. "I've already made my decision. This is exactly what I need to do. I'm not asking for your permission. I'm just informing you, so I don't cheat on you. It's not treason if you're aware of it and the situation is open. It's only cheating if I hide it and sneak behind your back. That's not the case here. Besides, it won't happen every night, probably just Friday or Saturday, and I'll return home in the morning. We'll continue to make love a couple of nights a week and I answered, "I'm confident I'll never worry about sloppy seconds because I won't touch you after you go on one of your dates. Where did this nonsense come from? What put this foolish idea in your head?" I was certain I knew the answer, but I asked anyway. She said, "I told Susie about our plans to start a family." Susie, her full-time divorced co-worker, had cheated on all 4 of her ex-husbands. Lily elaborated. "She said I needed to clear my mind before starting a family, so I could fully relax and be a wonderful mother and wife without regretting anything I missed. She also said her experiences with other men improved her lovemaking by teaching her new techniques to delight you, potentially leading to a better quality of life." It was evident that Lily would go ahead with it regardless of what I said. I tried many arguments but was rejected each time. At last, I responded, "It's evident you'll do this despite my wishes. When are you planning your first date?" "I don't have one yet, but Susie and I plan to go to a club tomorrow night," she said. "Fine, but I warn you, bringing anyone here would end tragically." "I'd never disrespect you like that. We'll go to his house, his hotel room, Or back to Susie's. I'm not granting authorization, and won't agree to any of it. My opinion is clearly irrelevant to your decision. I won't touch you while this happens, and this could have serious ramifications for our partnership. There may not be a place for you here if you wish to return. What do you mean? I'm not going away. It's just 1 or 2 nights a week. We'll spend the rest of our time together. No, I won't allow this. If you're adamant, you leave to do it. I don't care where you go, but you won't live here while dating and fornicating with other men. Don't be silly. This is my house too. You can't just kick me out. Remember, this house belongs to my parents. They gave it to me before we married. This is my house. Perhaps you should move in with Susie. We called it a night. The next day, Lily tried to persuade me to sleep in another bedroom, but I claimed the bed was mine as well as hers. If she doesn't want to sleep in the same bed, she may leave. We avoided each other throughout the day. She walked downstairs at 8 a.m., wearing lace stockings, a garter belt, and 4-inch heels. Her hair was done, and she wore makeup and jewelry appropriate for a night out, while carrying a little purse. Have you forgotten anything? I asked. I have my phone, wallet, and ID. That's all I need. How about luggage, apparel, cosmetics, and toiletries? Oh, I am just leaving for the night. Why do I need all of that? I'll be back before morning. Not really. As soon as you leave, I will replace the locks. I told you that if you keep up this nonsense, you would not be able to live here. Don't act ridiculous. I know you love me enough to allow this. Clearly, you don't love me enough not to do this. You will not return if you exit through this door. Just as she was ready to speak, a car horn blasted in the driveway. That is Susie. I have to leave, but we can discuss this when I get home. What she didn't know was that I had placed many covert apps on her phone while she was getting ready in the restroom. I could now monitor her location, read her texts, record her calls, and even turn on her microphone and camera without her knowledge. I switched on her microphone as soon as she left the home and recorded her talk with Susie while they drove. I would listen to it later. First, I replaced the door locks with new ones that I had purchased earlier. Then I pulled her car out of the garage, reconfigured the garage door opener, and removed the remote control. Next, I put all of her clothes, toiletries, and cosmetics into boxes that I'd purchased in preparation. 2 hours later, I had loaded her possessions into the car. It was time to hear her talk with Susie. God, he's mad, Lily said. I warned you he'd be upset for about a week, but that'll pass, Susie responded. Just make sure to blow his mind for the next few days. When he learns how much better things are, he'll accept it. Men are like dogs. You can get away with anything if you compensate them well. The proper application of women's techniques will alter their outlook. I just hope the person you're setting me up with doesn't leave me too sore to have energy tomorrow night with Rob. Be sure to soak in the bath tomorrow. That should help. Now remove your panties and leave them in the car. You will not need them today. You are small. Lily laughed. They both chuckled. Let me describe Susie. She is a 5 feet 4 inches powerhouse with emerald green eyes, a stunning face, and long, fiery red hair that reaches her buttocks. She had a 38-inch chest, a slim waist, and the morals of a street cat. Her infidelity resulted in the breakdown of all 4 of her marriages, which is astonishing for someone who is just 26 years old and divorced 4 times before the age of 30. She had made it obvious that I was welcome in her bed at any moment, but I never took her up on her offer. This wasn't the first time she tried to coerce Lily into doing something foolish, generally by wanting to engage us in a threesome or more. So far I've avoided it. I listened a little longer, but the commotion inside the club made it impossible to hear anything. Instead, I started controlling our finances. By tracking her GPS, I was able to withdraw half of our bank account balance, pay off and cancel our shared credit cards, and transfer our whole savings to an offshore account. I opened a separate account in my name several years ago, and transferred roughly 70% of our money to it. I spotted her GPS shifting, so I turned on the microphone again. I heard a strange masculine voice speaking to her. Her telephone rang. Hello Susie, how are you? Hi girl, did you leave with the person you danced with? Yes, we are going to your house for some alone time. I hope you do not mind if we use the spare bedroom for an hour or two. It's not an issue, baby. I'll probably go there shortly with a friend. Let's have fun. I hope you need a shower once you finish so you may return home later. I thought so. I have put some shampoo and body wash in the spare bathroom for you. Thank you. See you later. I turned on the camera to get a peek of the man she was with. I only got a quick look as she put the phone away. He appeared to be about 30 years old, had thinning black hair, and was a little shorter than me. I turned everything off as they drove. When they arrived at Susie's, I listened until I heard them turn away from their phone. The camera was unlikely to work, and I needed her phone in the same room to capture audio evidence of her cheating. Lily called me. Hello, honey. How are you? Where are you currently? Bea and I are at Susie's. We'll rest for a while, and then she'll drive me home. I will be back in a few hours. We just turned on a movie. Fine. I just wanted to make sure you didn't get into a difficult situation. I am fine. Stop worrying. See you in a few hours. Fine. Goodbye. She must have been inebriated because she didn't notice I hadn't spoken anything affectionate, or told her I loved her. She also didn't realize I said goodbye at the conclusion. Miraculously, she brought the phone into the bedroom, most likely because she was chatting to me while walking there. Better yet, she placed it on the nightstand, leaning against the light, giving the camera a clear view of the majority of the bed. I'm sure I couldn't use this in court, but I didn't mind. Then I watched long enough to see they were intimate, then minimized the window and continued recording. If she was going out with other men, I saw no reason to sit at home and wait for her. What's beneficial for the goose also benefits the gander. Screw her. I also decided to have some fun and planned to rub it in her face. She did not return home and remained with Susie. I spent the weekend doing household maintenance and working on my 1972 GMC truck, which I had purchased cheaply years before. I'd added a custom 350 engine, a Borg-Warner Super T10 4-speed manual transmission, a 12-volt rear differential, leather bucket seats, and matte black paint. All that remained was to connect the steel-braided lines to the engine's fuel, radiator, and vacuum connectors. Work kept me distracted, particularly after I stopped speaking with Lily. I finished the truck and made it ready for the road. I also hired a lawyer and began drafting divorce documents. There was no way around handing her half of everything. The divorce rules in this state appear to have been written by hardcore feminists. Men are screwed in divorces, compelled to pay an adulterous spouse to support her philandering lifestyle. A man has few alternatives for self-defense. Friday evening came, and my truck was pristine. After showering, shaving, and applying cologne, I changed into new Levi's slacks, a black button-down shirt, and rattlesnake leather cowboy boots. I treated myself to dinner at a steakhouse, where the T-bone, baked potato, vegetables, and salad were all excellent. As I exited the restaurant, I looked up Lily's whereabouts. She and Susie had arrived at the club around 30 minutes earlier. It was time to carry out my plan, which I knew would drive Lily nuts. I parked a few spots away from her car, knowing she was the designated driver, which made my strategy easy. I came to the club with a strategy and a backup in case Susie had moral reservations. I found them easily. Susie, I didn't realize you'd be here, I remarked, approaching their table with a drink and waiting for Lily to dance with another guy. Rob, what are you doing here? Susie inquired warily. It's probably the same as you. Since I had just moved in, I decided to try this club and have some fun tonight. Want to dance? I came with Lily. How does this not hinder me from dancing with you? Besides, she is either in the restroom or on the dance floor. You've never backed down from dancing with me before. Her apprehensive visage softened into a grin. Sure, I'd love to dance. We danced to 3 quick songs before the slow one began. I drew her near for approximately a song and a half before Lily noticed us. I almost laughed as her surprise morphed into panic. She exited the dance floor after the song and returned to their table, gazing at me with barely contained wrath. You poor thing, I mused. I haven't even begun to make you mad. Susie gripped me tightly as we slowly danced like a bombshell. It didn't take me long to react physically. She noticed, grinned warmly, and drew closer. I looked at Lily and lowered my hand to Susie's rear. When the song finished, I led Susie back to their table. She invited me to join them, and I accepted. We stopped to order beverages, and I added all 3 to my tab. Ryan, what the hell are you doing here? Lily hissed. What do you mean? I'm doing the same thing as you, drinking, dancing, and having fun. Is that prohibited? Don't act innocent, she snarled. You're here to ruin my evening. Quite the reverse, Lily. I had no idea you would be here. We have not communicated since you moved out. I heard about this club from coworkers and went to check it out while you were not present. Do you mean this is natural for you but not for me? That is hypocritical. I turned to Susie and began speaking, disregarding Lily's outburst. She attempted to make me envious by dancing flirtatiously with as many men as possible. I grinned, monopolizing Susie's attention. When another guy approached her, I'd bring her to the dance floor before they got to the table. They eventually stopped trying, presuming we were together. After a few hours I realized it was time. Lily was on the dance floor, and Susie was open. Meet me at your place, I said quietly. Lily will get there soon. Does it matter? Susie said. She has her own room. To hell with it. She's driving. She can get home. Let's go. I held her close while driving. Her dress fell to the floor as soon as we walked in. She dragged me into her bedroom. The night was fantastic. She certainly had a lot of practice. Just as I looked up, the front door banged shut. Susie speaks loudly during personal moments, and her room is adjacent to Lily's, separated by a narrow wall. We passed asleep around 2 a.m. from weariness. Breakfast was weird. Our morning activities awoke Lily. When I walked into the kitchen, she was already there with coffee. Is everything fine? She inquired, grinning. I'll do it myself, I responded, retrieving a clean knife from the cupboard and stood near the Keurig while she filled her cup. There's no telling what was in her coffee. We had a small talk. Lily and Susie spoke briefly. Then I chatted to Susie. Lily recognized we were both gone from the club when she noticed my truck in the parking area. She yelled so loudly that the guy she had brought home left. She looked at me like a wolf at breakfast. Soon after, I departed. When driven, I can be tenacious. Lily collaborated with several attractive single women I met at her firm's events. I had their contact information and started contacting them. Within weeks I persuaded the majority to go on dates. Some were hesitant since Lily and I were still married, but when I explained that we had separated, they relented. My actions caused tension between Lily and Susie, and Lily fought with other single women at work. I spent a wonderful afternoon dining, dancing, and getting intimate with Lily's colleagues. I utilized her phone's GPS and spy apps to make sure I was where she was. Her colleagues brag about their dates with me, which irritated her. She kept going out with men, but she and Susie clashed more. I overheard Lily shouting at Susie, "This is not how it was intended to work. He was supposed to wait for me to sow my wild oats before welcoming me back to start our family. He was not supposed to date or spend nights with other women." Susie was perplexed. I did not expect it either. What are your plans? I've had my fun, and none of these guys can compare to Rob. Our anniversary is approaching, and we intend to start a family that night, Lily remarked, beaming. He knows how to send a girl into orbit. Susie understood, but screamed, "Why did you bring him here and keep my husband awake all night just to appear cool?" The next morning, "I've wanted him for years. What was I supposed to do when he came at me like that? He turned it up and pressed all my buttons. I couldn't help it. He's my hubby. Show some respect." Fine. I apologize. He stopped calling me. I doubt we'll meet again. Besides, he's checked out all our single coworkers. It's time to reclaim what's mine. I'll call him later and tell him I'm ready to return and start our family, says Lily. I grinned while listening. She had no idea what was coming. I contacted my lawyer for final instructions. With just over a week till our anniversary, I planned a spectacular celebration. Lily called, begging to come home, but I declined, explaining that I had plans and was planning on a surprise for her homecoming. I suggested modifications which she mistook as turning a bedroom into a nursery. I never said that. I arranged for her to arrive on our anniversary as a surprise. On Saturday evening, I threw a barbecue pool party. Lily had no idea I had installed the pool during the last 2 months. We were joined by friends, relatives, and some special guests. The doorbell rang promptly at 6 p.m. I told Lily to come, and she spotted the automobiles in front. When she realized we were having a party, she appeared surprised and carried her luggage into the home. "Everything's fine. The guest of honor has arrived," I told them. "Rob, what's going on? I thought we'd have a quiet romantic dinner," she said to him. "Number today is a major celebration, and I want all our family and friends to join us," I told them. "Okay, sweetie, it just surprises me. I didn't expect this," she told me. "Just place your suitcases here, we'll deal with them later. You've arrived in time for dinner. As the guest of honor, you and I will be first in line." Lily adjusted and started enjoying herself. We hadn't talked about her actions in the prior 2 months. We ate, drank, and laughed. After dinner, a light shone in the backyard, exposing the pool and other modifications. She hadn't visited the upper level, and hinted at wanting to see what I'd done, still believing I'd built a nursery. It was time for the final surprise. "Could I have your attention, please? I have a few announcements for this great day," I cried out. The stereo came to a halt, and everyone crowded near. "Thank you for coming. Ida, please join me." After she left, I went on. "First, yesterday was my last day at work. My former boss was the only one who knew, as I gave him 1 month's notice and explained my plans. I'm now starting my own consulting company, giving me more freedom to spend time with my family." Lily grinned as I emphasized, family. "As you know, today is our 5th anniversary. What most don't know is that we plan to start our family today. With that, I want to give Ida a special anniversary gift to commemorate our relationship." I moved aside and motioned to a hired woman near the group's edge. She stepped forward. "Ida Bader, you've been served," the woman explained. "What most don't know," I replied, "is that 2 months ago, Ida told me she was going to date and sleep with other men. She didn't ask if I agreed, she just informed me and said there was nothing I could do. For the past 2 months, she's been living with her friend and taking different men to her home for intimate encounters. This is something I won't tolerate. To be fair, I also dated other women, but only after Ida broke her vows." "No," Ida shrieked. "For your actions, I'm giving you a divorce so you can be intimate with whoever you want. Rest assured, it won't be me. I told you I was renovating the house. You saw the pool and other downstairs upgrades. I also repainted the master bedroom, installed a larger shower and a jacuzzi tub in the master bath, and removed the wall between the 2 smaller spare bedrooms to create 1 large bedroom with its own bathroom. I did this for a specific reason." As I spoke, a red-haired mother and a 10-year-old girl approached me. "I want you all to meet my lawyer, Tara, and her daughter, Simone. Tara is a single mother I met 2 months ago, on the Monday after Ida went to the club with her first guy. We've become very close, though we haven't officially started dating. We both feel there's something between us, and I get along well with Simone. Once the divorce is final, and she's no longer my lawyer, we plan to be together. Her lease is up soon, and Tara and Simone are moving in with me." I turned to Ida. "As for your suitcases, take them to your car. You won't come back here. I told you I wouldn't stand for this, but you rushed ahead and ruined our marriage." Ida cried frantically. Her family yelled, and the majority of her pals fled. My family sat stunned. Tara and Simone quietly headed upstairs, bracing for this reaction. To be honest, Tara and I had not kissed. We dined together and spent evenings in their place, but we agreed to wait until my divorce was finalized. Tara left her spouse 5 years ago after discovering him cheating. She has dated since, but has never felt a spark. Everyone eventually departed. I do not know where Ida went. That day, I removed the spyware programs from her phone. I no longer cared about what she did. Could I have handled things differently? Maybe. Should I have included Tara and Simone? Probably not. Why did I do that? Simple. Anger. I was enraged at Ida's behavior and wanted everyone to know how her selfishness had damaged our marriage. I wanted her to experience the misery she had caused me. She destroyed my feelings for her and made me despise her. I wanted her to feel that grief and contempt. I could have served her at work or emailed evidence to everyone, but I preferred a public confrontation. It was immature and unpleasant, but I completed it. Ida spent around 2 weeks at Susie's before they clashed. She has her own tiny flat. I frequently encounter her throughout the city, her look swinging between despair and fury. She left her company due to stress from me dating her coworkers, and got another job. I see her family occasionally when I dine with Tara and Simone. We do not talk. They frown, but we ignore them. Ida attempted to contest the divorce but quickly realized it was hopeless. Tara intensified the pressure by continuing to meet with Ida's colleagues. Ida signed the papers after learning about my 4th date with one of her coworkers. When the divorce was finalized, Tara and Simone moved in. 1 year later, Tara and I married. Another year later, we ran into Ida at a street market. She noticed Tara's 6-month pregnant tummy, turned, and hurried away in tears. 3 years had gone since the dramatic barbecue pool party at which Ryan Brooks handed divorce papers to his wife Lily in front of relatives and friends. Ryan's life has taken unexpected turns. However, the echoes of that day persisted, affecting his new world and Lily's future in unanticipated ways. Ryan, now 31, has settled into life with Tara, his second wife, and their growing family. Their son Liam was a vivacious 1-year-old, and Tara's daughter from her previous marriage, Simone, was 13 years old and thriving. Ryan's consulting firm had taken off, giving him the freedom to work from home and be present for his family. However, the past was not completely behind him, and a chance encounter would soon force Ryan and Lily to confront unresolved wounds. It was a cool October afternoon in their little community, with golden leaves blanketing the walkways and the air filled with the promise of fall festivities. Ryan, Tara, Simone, and Liam attended the yearly Harvest Fair, a local institution featuring pumpkin carving competitions, gourmet food stalls, and live music. Simone was at a booth painting a ceramic cup, while Tara pushed Liam's stroller and talked with Ryan about their weekend plans. Ryan felt happy, in sharp contrast to the wrath that had engulfed him 3 years before. But as they approached a bend near the apple cider stand, he stopped. Lily stood there with a man he didn't recognize. She looked thinner, with her golden hair trimmed into a stylish haircut. Her blue eyes were framed by delicate lines that had not previously existed. She wore a navy coat and jeans, with a casual posture but a guarded gaze as she recognized Ryan. The man next to her, tall with salt and pepper hair and a fitted jacket, appeared to be in his early 40s. He grasped her hand, and Ryan noticed a ring on Lily's left finger. For a brief moment, their eyes connected, and time appeared to collapse, returning them to the sorrow and betrayal that had defined their final days together. Tara, noticing a change in Ryan's tone, followed his gaze. "Is this her?" she said, her voice calm yet protective. Ryan nodded, his jaw tightened. Simone, unconcerned, called out to show them her painted mug, disturbing the silence. Ryan mustered a smile, but his thoughts were racing. He hadn't seen Lily since the street fair 2 years ago, when she ran at the sight of Tara's pregnant stomach. He'd heard from common contacts that she had relocated to a nearby town and changed careers, leaving accounting for a position in event organizing. Aside from that, he tried to let her go from his life. Lily, however, had not forgotten him. She excused herself from the man and approached gingerly, taking measured steps. "Rob," she whispered softly, pausing a few steps away. "I didn't expect to see you here, Lily," he said, keeping his tone calm. Tara stood close, her hand resting on Liam's pram, as Simone observed from the booth. "Looks like you're doing well," Lily added, nodding to the man browsing a nearby stall. "That is David. We became engaged last month. He's a good person. She runs a small construction company." Her voice wavered slightly, as if she was testing Ryan's interest. "I saw your family. They are gorgeous." "Thanks," Ryan replied, unsure how to continue the conversation. Half of him wanted to leave, but another half, the one that had once loved her fiercely, felt a tinge of intrigue. What had her life become? Had she changed, or was she still the impulsive woman who had ended their marriage? Tara, always alert, jumped in. "I'm Tara," she said, offering her hand. "It's nice to meet you, Lily. Rob has told me a lot about your time together." Her tone was pleasant but forceful, emphasizing that she was Ryan's present, not his past. Lily shook Tara's hand, smiling tightly. "Likewise, I'm thrilled for both of you." She turned back to Ryan. "Can we speak for a minute? Alone?" "It will not take long." Ryan paused, staring at Tara, who gave a slight nod. "Go ahead," she replied. "I'll be with Simone." She steered Liam into the booth, leaving Ryan and Lily standing awkwardly by the cider stand. "What is this about, Lily?" Ryan inquired, crossing his arms. The festival swarmed around them, children laughing, a band playing in the distance, but the gap between them felt thick. Lily took a big breath. "I owe you an apology. Not only for what I did, but also for how I handled every situation. I was selfish, Rob. I let Suze's suggestions and my own concerns about settling down cloud my judgment. I imagined I could have it all. Freedom and you waiting for me. I was wrong, and I have damaged you in ways I cannot reverse." Ryan examined her, looking for authenticity. Her comments seemed real, but they couldn't wash away the hours he'd spent repeating her treachery, or the public humiliation he delivered in response. "Why now?" he asked. "It's been 3 years. You could have contacted me sooner." "I wanted to," she said. Her eyes glistened. "But I was embarrassed. I went into a downward spiral following my divorce. I stayed with Susie until we fell out. She accused me of losing you as a friend, which was ludicrous. Rob, I received therapy. It took a long time to realize how much I had messed up. Not just with you, but with myself. Meeting David helped me rebuild, but I couldn't move on without telling you this. Ryan's rage, once a roaring fire, had faded to embers over the years. He no longer hated Lily, but his trust had vanished. I appreciate the apology, he replied softly. But this doesn't change what happened. You broke something that cannot be repaired, and I've done things I'm not proud of. The party, how I handled it. I let my fury take over. I also hurt you. Lily nodded and wiped a tear. I deserved it. I kept hoping you'd wait so I could have some fun before we resumed our plans. Seeing you with Susie, then my coworkers, and eventually Tara, it broke me. I realized I'd lost you forever. You didn't just lose me, Ryan stated calmly. You've lost us. We planned our lives, the family we want. I have moved on, Lily. I have Tara, Simone, and Liam. Now they are my entire universe. I hope you can make peace with David, but we can't go back. I know, she whispered. I'm not asking for that. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry, and I'm trying to be better, for David and for myself. She stopped, then added, Your son. He looks like you. I am delighted you received the family you wanted. Ryan softened somewhat. Thanks. I hope you and David develop something real. He looked at Tara, who was smiling with Simone, and felt grateful for his life right now. Take care, Lily. She nodded and took a step back. You too, Rob. She rejoined David, who placed an arm around her before disappearing into the crowd. Ryan returned to his family with a lightened heart but still analyzing the meeting. Tara lifted her eyebrow. Is everything okay? Yeah, he replied, kissing her forehead. She apologized. I believe she is trying to move on. Good, Tara said. So are we. She handed him a cup of cider, and they rejoined Simone, who proudly displayed her mug. The remainder of the day was spent laughing, playing games and enjoying the warmth of their friendship. Ryan's thoughts occasionally strayed to Lily's words. Ryan meditated on the apology for several weeks. He addressed it with Tara, who advised him to contact a therapist to go through any unresolved emotions. The sessions helped him see that his acts 3 years ago, albeit motivated by pain, were extreme. He regretted including Simone in the announcement and manipulating Lily's co-workers to provoke her. But he also forgave himself, seeing that he was reacting to a profound wound. Lily, meanwhile, resumed her quest. She and David married the next spring in a simple ceremony. She thrived in her event-organizing business, finding fulfillment in bringing joy to others. Therapy helped her deal with her impulsivity and the effects of toxic friendships like Suze's. She never contacted Ryan again, but his forgiveness served as a subtle confidence that she might recover. Ryan considered his interaction at the fair to be a watershed moment. He let go of any remaining bitterness, focusing on his family and firm. He and Tara welcomed their second child, a daughter called Elise. The following year, Simone, now a confident adolescent, began referring to Ryan as Dad. A moniker that meant more to him than any victory over Lily ever could. The past would continue to be a part of their tale, but it no longer defined them. Ryan and Lily, once bonded by love and torn apart by betrayal, have chosen separate routes to healing. The Harvest Fair, with its fleeting moment of closure, became a memory they both treasured. Not for the anguish it evoked, but for the calm it promised. The narrative of Ryan and Lily is a raw, emotional journey that exposes the complexity of love, betrayal, and the human desire for closure. As I ponder on their story, I am struck by the intensity of their decisions. Lily's reckless quest for freedom and Ryan's deliberate revenge. Both acted out of strong emotion, but their decisions led to a circle of agony that neither really imagined. What resonates the most is how their journey matches real-life struggles. The temptation to prioritize selfish interests over commitment, the heartbreak of lost trust, and the difficult route to mending after a relationship fails. Lily's actions, motivated by impulsivity and toxic influence, demonstrate a universal truth. Unrestrained wants can break even the strongest ties. Her assumption that Ryan would wait demonstrates foolish entitlement, underestimating the depth of his love and the gravity of her betrayal. Ryan's reaction, while understandable in fury, borders on vindictiveness, particularly in the public humiliation at the anniversary party. His decision to involve Tara and Simone, particularly a child, in that time appears to be a mistake, one that put revenge over grace. This does not belittle his pain, but rather emphasizes how hurt can lead to behaviors we later regret. The expansion I created around their interaction at the harvest market provides a glimpse of redemption. Lily's belated apologies demonstrate growth, a willingness to accept responsibility for her faults. Ryan's willingness to accept it, if warily, indicates his own healing. Their contrasting paths, Lily with David and Ryan with Tara and their families, show that life can continue despite betrayal. Not as a fairy tale, but as a messy yet hopeful process of starting over. The story's impact comes from its refusal to sugarcoat. Love is capable of breaking. People are capable of inflicting significant harm on one another. Healing, however, is possible, however imperfect. From a broader viewpoint, this story parallels ideas I've spoken with others regarding relationships and betrayal. Ryan and Lily's story, like Daniel and Laura's and Jake's, emphasizes the value of communication, self-awareness, and the bravery to confront our mistakes. It also serves as a reminder that societal influences, such as media cliches about sowing wild oats, or poisonous companions like Susie, can distort our decisions if we are not grounded in our core principles. If you're in a relationship that has been stressed by betrayal or temptation, take a minute to ponder. First, prioritize open communication. Before acting on an urge, discuss your needs and anxieties with your spouse. Lily's refusal to fully hear Ryan's objections set their demise in motion. Second, seek advice from those who share your ideals, not those who encourage destructive behavior. Susie's influence served as a spark for calamity. Surround yourself with people who support your commitments. Third, if you've been betrayed, resist the temptation to retaliate in ways that undermine your integrity. Ryan's public show provided short satisfaction but long-term remorse. Instead, direct your energy toward healing, via therapy, journaling, or trustworthy confidants. For those rebuilding after a failed relationship, take incremental, deliberate efforts. Ryan found fulfillment in his family and career. Lily recovered via treatment and a new partnership. Your route may be different, but it begins with self-forgiveness and a desire to improve. And if you're single, as some of you may be, remember that your worth is not dependent on a relationship. Create a life full of friendships, hobbies, and purpose, qualities that will complete you, whether you are paired or not. I would like to hear your comments on Ryan and Lily's tale. What did you think about their choices? Have you reached a similar crossroads in your own relationships? How did you navigate them?